Okay, we're live. Awesome. This is American Hammers TV, another special Sunday episode where we like to interview people who are hammers from abroad. Well, abroad from the US anyway. And today we have a very special guest, all the way from East London. It's Jazz, right? Is that your name, Jazz?
That's correct, Jazz.
Okay, Jazz. Yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
The full name is what? I'm sorry?
Jazz Winder.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's been a couple of weeks now. We're talking about getting you on, so I really appreciate you coming on. And real quick, I do have to plug a few things. We have a large shop now, which is kind of cool. We've been partnering with different groups from abroad and here in the States as well. That it's called AHTV.threadless.com, and we have some really, really cool stuff in there. So we've just added Detroit Hammers. We've just added Boston Hammers recently, and DC Irons. A lot of different supporters groups for West Ham here in the United States. But we also have, where is it here? I'll see if I can pull this up. We also have this. This is kind of neat. We have Hammers Singh in the group here. So you can buy different things from T-shirts to, there's also women's items as well. And there's also stuff like accessories and stickers for your laptop. It looks like right there. Phone cases, even all different stuff to help not just us, obviously, but it help. Hammers Singh gets 50% of the profit, so that's kind of cool. And that goes with all the different groups we have here in the shop. If you partner with us, we'll split it with you. We'll do all the work. We'll do all the advertising for you, and we'll get it out there. And so far, West Ham Philadelphia is the one who's killing it. They are selling a ton. They are absolutely selling a ton. And it's kind of cool to see because we get to see where all these people are purchasing from. And it's not just Philadelphia. It's people who have attachments to Philly some way, shape, or form, which is kind of neat. So that said, we also have scarves, which you can't really see here, but we have these American Hammers TV scarves. Oh, yeah. On our website. So our website is AmericanHammersTV.us, and those are $25 a piece. The shipping just varies depending on where you're located, but they're super high quality, made by Roughneck. And that commercial is now out of the way. So Jazz, thanks for the patience there. How on earth did you get into West Ham?
So basically, it was in the family. So my father, he came to the UK in 1962 at the age of 12 from India. And basically, he watched the 1966 World Cup final. And he said, whoever Bobby Moore plays for, I'm going to follow that club. So he kind of lived in West London at that time, so wasn't too far from East London. And that's how, obviously, I was about 9 years old and kind of began to sort of get familiar with what's going on in football. And his philosophy, a bit like mine, was, welcome to West Ham. If you support any team, the front door's there. Awesome. So basically, I'm to save my children. We're all West Ham fans. So that's how I became a West Ham fan through my father, really, yeah.
And you stuck it out, so good on you.
I'll tell you what, I know. Definitely difficult because at that time, mid-early 80s, when I was at sort of primary, secondary school, Liverpool were dominating everything. So a lot of the people support Liverpool, especially around my family. But we're unique as West Ham fans. As you know, we haven't won anything since I followed them. My dad was quite fortunate. He saw good days in 75, in 80, in 81. Even 82, 86 when we finished third. Yeah. So it's kind of just a passion, really, of kind of linking up with good people like yourselves. And it's kind of a special bond, really. You're only connected to West Ham if you live near the ground or you have a connection through your family, really. So it's quite a unique, special setup. We don't often pick up fans sort of willy-nilly off the road, so to speak, really. Yeah.
No, that's my favorite part about this show. So when we started this, we only interviewed American West Ham supporters who had supporters groups, kind of just to showcase them, to entice people to join them, and in on match day. Well, we started unearthing all different sorts of people from all different walks of life that all over the country, and then from Canada, now Australia. We've been speaking with people from all over the world, from Brazil, that have some large supporters groups there as well. And we're finding out that there is a lot of similarities to how everyone got into West Ham, and not just how they got into West Ham, but the type of people that they are. I mean, they're very loyal people, very good people. Haven't met many, not so nice people through West Ham. I mean, yeah, so it's been really interesting to hear everyone's stories. I mean, over here in the United States, it's usually okay. Well, the IT crowd, even the city of West Ham United has appeared on The Simpsons. Oh, I saw that there, and then I started digging and doing more research and finding out that, hey, I have family over there from that area. Also, Green Street Hooligans is a big one. That one has come up quite a bit, but it's one of the, or Cockney Rejects. Like I'm massively into punk music, and Cockney Rejects got me into, or I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan, and I mean all these different stories. It's never the same. It's kind of cool, and yeah, but we all have that, like you said, that common bond, and it's my favorite. The reason why I do this is to meet awesome people from around the world. It really has been fantastic, and also as we have a live chat. I don't think you can see that, but we have a live chat going on right now, and there's a lot of people saying, oi oi Hammers all over the world. Evening, gents. Someone's actually in Essex right now. And someone else says, I love the IT crowd. Yeah, that's how I discovered it too. So that and Football Manager or FIFA or something. But anyway, so how did you discover the group Hammers Sings?
Yeah, Hammers Sings was about to go to West Ham Liverpool game under sort of Big Sam's time, so good 4 or 5 years ago. And basically, I was saying earlier, Sings is the middle name for all people who are of Sikh religion. And Sikh religion originates from north of India in the state of Punjab. And you recognize a Sikh normally in the crowd who wears a turban and a beard. But confusingly, not every Sikh looks like that. If they're baptized, they'll have a turban, they'll have a beard. And if they're baptized, they're usually not allowed to drink alcohol, not allowed to smoke, not allowed to eat meat. And then more confusingly, you do have some Sikhs who have the turban and the beard, but they're not baptized. So they could do one of those 3 things. And then you have people like me who are clean shaven, don't have the turban. And yes, I do 1 or 2 of those things. So basically, that's kind of Sikhs for you. And Hammers Sings was a group founded by Vic, who's based in the Midlands near Birmingham, which is about an hour and a half from London, where I'm based. And he wanted to get together people from similar backgrounds and just get people together, do different things, different events, merchandise, And it's been getting bigger, like I was saying. Spurs have Punjabi Spurs, which is a similar kind of group. Wolves have a similar kind of group. Wolves are getting quite big, where they actually take the music that's related to the Sikhism, the Punjabi music, the Bhangra. So they take the big dole player, which you wear around your neck, and you kind of beat the crap out of it with 2 sticks, and they take it into the ground sometimes and make a lot of noise, like the Spanish drum, for example. So things are doing differently, and I know Vic's been busy, but we're hoping to get some events sort of arranged the next sort of coming months and years. Really, sort of, we could probably organise some Indian dinners, get some fans, get some players, get together. Make everyone aware, and people do come up to me when I go to West Ham. I mean, I'm quite familiar on West Ham Fans TV, Hammers Chat. Hammers Chat have a boat near the ground, so I go and talk to Gio and Gonzo, and they're like, "Oh, how did you support?" And they go, "How do you support West Ham? What's your background?" And Gonzo's, "Oh, one of my best friends sort of is a Sikh." So you get talking about your background and things like that, and explain how you came into West Ham. So yeah, that's kind of the background to it, really. Just trying to get different people from Indian origin background together, really, and kind of see how they got into West Ham.
No, that's awesome, and we're all for that. We love seeing the different groups. Actually, we love watching them grow as well. There's a few people in here that they want us to talk about Pellegrini. So let's just get that out of the way. So what's your thoughts on the manager and our season thus far?
Right. If I start from the beginning, when Pellegrini came in, I was very happy. I felt this is a guy who's very experienced. He played the football the way we traditionally like to play the football. Had experience with Manchester City, Spain, very wide, very respected. And the first 10, 15 games went very well. But I'm very disappointed to kind of where we've ended up. And I was thinking about this before I came on. I wanted him gone 2-3 games ago, really, because in the last 7-8 games, I've seen no difference in tactics, formation, in motivation. He sticks to the same kind of lineup, really. And I felt that he's really, A, he's stubborn, and B, he fails to recognize where the game is in 2019.
Yeah.
Technically, some players may be good, but today's modern game, when you look at Liverpool, you look at Spurs, it's all about power, pace, strength, stamina, pressing when you're attacking, pressing when you're defending, overlapping fullbacks. And he seems to have been totally ignorant of that fact around him and ignorant of the way to set up when playing teams. He basically sets up the same way. And we've seen the same result. And even some people are saying it was West Ham Spurs. And half of us got up in the morning, went to the pit, to the ground, and we weren't excited about it. And they asked me and a couple of the fan cams before, Jazz, how's it going to go before Newcastle? And I said, we're going to lose. And that's what happened. Wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
And I feel games are running out very quickly. We really should move fast. And it's up to the board. That's what they get paid for, to get a new, exciting, young. And I feel a British manager who really understands the club, the league, and is very aware of the new ways people are playing, is able to adopt his way. And a really other critical point is that he's hungry for success. I feel Pellegrini is 66, very wealthy. He's had really good success in his life, and does he really want to? Is he hungry to achieve the next step? He's 66. I mean, you can't do long-term project with people like that.
Yeah.
Who are our number two? We don't even know who our number two are. Who are the backbench? They look like they all went to school together. Same old age. You know.
Yeah.
And when we were playing badly in the game, I don't see him standing up there, getting wound up, pointing fingers at people. He just sits there, stands up now and again, folds his arms, and sits down again.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, I'm really sorry it didn't work out, but he's overstayed a bit. He needs to go quickly. Yeah,
I think so too. I think a full season like last season was, that was a good, that was plenty of time. That he had that season. It was lots of ups and downs like there were this season so far, but it was so all over the place last season. Then he had the issues with Arnautovic. He had the issues with Chicharito. He had issues with Lucas Perez. When he actually played Lucas Perez, he actually scored. And then he'd bench him again. I mean, it was so many different things. Or he'd start Lucas Perez and Obiang in a match against Everton that made no sense whatsoever. And then we lose 2-0. I mean, that was last season. So he had the summer, spent some more money, and we looked at like, okay, we have yet another record signing. Hey, this might be the year. And then same old. And it's actually worse, I feel, than last season. So how can we have faith in somebody that is going backwards? And not just that, where we beat Chelsea and everybody said that we made all these changes, and we didn't. I mean, as you said, Pellegrini is super stubborn. And I say this all the time, he's super stubborn. He played the same formation. He just took a couple people out and he said, you know what, let's drop back a little bit. That's the only tweaks he made. And everybody was like, oh, he made so many changes. Oh yeah, we beat Chelsea. Let's go. And then we face Wolves and it's the same old again. And here we go. Let's have faith. I know this guy in the chat room, Nigel Khan. Nigel from More Than Just a Podcast. He's giving me stick right now about this because he's definitely have faith in the manager and let it play out, and at least till the end of the season, and unless we get relegated. That's his opinion, and everybody can have an opinion there. But he asked though real quickly, who then? Dyche, Howe, both have only won 4 games. Short-termism achieves nothing. So that's his question, I guess. What do you think?
There are 2 points to that. When Avram Grant took a reasonably good team down, we didn't act. So that's an example of not acting around January time. We're about to install Martin O'Neill. Things went a bit wrong in terms of communication. Martin O'Neill walked away. We didn't sack Avram Grant, and we went down. Point 2, we have supported Pellegrini quite well in the transfer window. Our average spend since moving to the new ground per season net is around 26-27 million. When he first came in, we gave him around 70 million, and the average has gone down to 27 again. And then the other thing with Pellegrini, obviously, is that result against Chelsea was due to the players pulling it out the bag, not Pellegrini. There were stories of Mark Noble in the dressing room getting quite vocal, quite worked up about it. And I think that's why we pulled it out the bag.
Yeah.
And it was a London derby. And we are so known to being up for it for important matches like your Liverpools, your Manchester Uniteds, your Spurs, your Arsenals. And then we go and behold, we play Wolves, Sheffield United, Brighton with respect. And we don't. You know, on a cold Wednesday evening, we're not up for it.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 important points, I think, to some people who might be thinking, let's stick with him. But we've supported him. And that result of Chelsea is not due to Pellegrini, no way. And I knew it was going to happen at Wolves, and I've said it out there in a couple of other interviews in the other channel. I didn't have any hope against Wolves at all.
Yeah. There's actually Kent Hammers in here saying, there's people saying bring Slav back. So what are your thoughts on that?
No. I mean,
that's what I think.
Whatever happened to Slav, there are 1 or 2 things. The Payet situation, the ground move didn't help. At the same time, there were stories that he was too relaxed on the training pitch. He weren't quite stern enough, weren't introducing. And then who was bringing these players in? I think he wasn't strong enough with the board. Half the players Sullivan was bringing in, half of them was Bilic. And you remember the funny story where Snodgrass joined the club. Bilic said, Snodgrass, where do you play? What side do you play? And Snoddy just looked at him saying, what the hell? So, you know all these things. So, no, we can't look at Bilic. Eddie Howe, not looking too clever at the moment. Deitch seems to be a guy you wouldn't mess around with in the dressing room, and you definitely would play for him.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not too sure who can come in, but hopefully the board has got someone up their sleeve. But you're right, it's not easy. Poch isn't going to come to us.
No.
I think we went for Emery about 3 years ago, and his stock was quite high. He walked away. Yeah. But I don't know. Emery, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't really have anyone. Benitez, I love Benitez, but again, like Pellegrini, he's got nothing to prove at West Ham. He's won the Champions League. He's reasonably old. He'll be good for a year, and then we might start complaining the way how rigidly he sets up.
Yeah. So he sets up the same way as Pellegrini, the 4-5-1 or the 4-2-3-1 or whatever. He sets up the same way. He just plays it slightly differently. He likes to have his right winger play like a second striker. And cut in a lot more. But I mean, other than that, it's the same thing. And to me, I've said this a million times. Benitez it's just like another dinosaur who would be taken from China, who's struggling in China. It's the same story like as Pellegrini. It's somebody who did well a long time ago, and now they went off to China and didn't even do that well, and now we want them again. And yeah, I mean, Benitez might have been better than Bilic at that time when after Allardyce left, we were linked with him, we were linked with Bielsa, and we ended up with Bilic. I'm not. And the other thing is, if you've ever watched this show, or if anybody in the chat room has watched the show before, you know how I feel about Bilic. I'm not his fan whatsoever. So the main reason, besides playing everybody out of position, but besides living only on his passion, I mean that's all he has. I don't think he has any tactical mindset. I think he has no knowledge of scouting or anything like that. He doesn't know who to have around him, on his staff. I think he's out of his element, other than his passion for the club, and good for him, and I appreciate that. But other than that, he could not guarantee James Tompkins playing time, and he sold him, and I'll never forgive him for that. And even Slaven Bilic is on the record. Like, I think the next time they played Crystal Palace, when during that summer they tried to get Benteke too, we did, and we lost out on Benteke. We lost, and we sold Bilic, and then they both ended up over there in Crystal Palace. And he even said, damn, it was a big mistake not getting Benteke, and it was also a big mistake letting Tompkins go. So he recognizes that. But anyway,
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. The big thing with Bilic is his first season, wherever he goes, is always good. Let's see how the second season goes, I think. West Brom, which is quite crucial. Yeah.
Or not just that, but how well will he do if he gets them up in the Premier League? I mean, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, it's a whole different game, championship and Premier League. So someone says, hey, what about Tony Cotty? I mean, has he coached before? I don't even know.
I think David Moyes would be good. Really, I think he's very unfortunate. Really done a really tough job. with the way Bilic left the club, and I don't know how he rescued us. And he's very clever tactically. The way he fought of the 4-5-1 formation up against Spurs and Chelsea, he made Arnie up front. He kind of kept us up fairly comfortably at the end. And he's someone who works so hard. They said usually he's the first guy in the training ground, the last one to leave.
Yeah.
Had a really good backroom staff with Stuart Pearce and one to the others.
And Alan Irvine,
the only thing with David Moyes, he looks miserable. He looks too pale. I mean, come on, that's not how you judge a player. He's got a really good number of years in football, 8-9 years at Everton, done a brilliant job, got him to number 4. So I think he was not given enough time. I think very unfortunate not to have had his term extended. I think,
yeah. I would agree that I would agree with that, but I don't know if I'd take him back now. Especially, I don't know how he would feel about coming back after saying, "Hey, we found someone better than you," or at least on paper, we found someone better than you. See you later. We're not going to extend you. And then, hey, he's not working out. You want to come back? I don't know how well that would go. So I don't know if I trust him. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I really can't think of many men. I mean, every manager that I want for the club, personally, they're out of our league, man. You know what I mean?
You're thinking of Brendan Rodgers, aren't you? People like that.
No, I mean, I can't stand Brendan Rodgers. I can't. No, I'm thinking of like Nagelsmann from. I want a young manager who's exciting, who's taken a club. Like a Hoffenheim and end up getting promoted to a club like Salzburg or Leipzig or whatever it is, one of those Red Bull teams. I get them all confused all the time. But anyway, he plays the formation. I feel like an Eddie Howe would play the formation. I feel that we need with the 3 center backs, the wing backs, and with the current squad that we have. I mean, I feel that we should be playing something more like that, utilizing wing backs and having 3 center backs because. And 2 strikers, obviously. I mean, that's something that with you look at our team sheet. I mean, you look at our players, our squad, and you're like, how do you get a 4-2-3-1 out of that? I mean, how do you get a guy who's never played as a lone striker before in his life, and you put him up there by himself just because he's a 40 million pound striker? I mean, is that the only reason? I mean, this guy doesn't understand like what he has. That's what it tells me.
I think basically what you do when you're a manager. You have like a puzzle, which means you know what your formation is and you buy players accordingly. So the pieces fit in a bit like Klopp. You know what Klopp wants. He wants pace, he wants stamina, he wants strength like Poch. And he buys players who are built to play like that. But sometimes with even Pellegrini, I mean, why did we buy Fornells when we had Lanzini? Did we think Lanzini was going to be sold? Because to hold on to both, I don't think... financially, it's really wise for West Ham. I mean, you look at the guy at Brighton, Mopé. He was 25 million. He could have played alongside Haller or had the option to come on in the second half and offer something different. And he played in the British League, or be it the Championship. But he was.
So he scored today against Wolves.
He did. He was a very good goal. Very good goal. Yeah, you got people like Neil Redmond with pace. You got the guy at Traore at Wolves. You've got Dakor at Watford, who's not doing too well, but you've got the powerhouse guy in the middle. You can do different things like that. And our fullbacks are kind of not really dynamic enough to play the wing backs. So I think he's bought the players and we're stuck with them. Look at Wiltshire. Look at kind of what we're going to do with Winston Reid. What we're going to do with a Jetty. Look at the money we spent on Hugo. I mean, we're a mess at the moment. And again, whoever comes along, he's going to have to untangle all that mess and move some players on and try to bring some players that he can really fully utilize. So I think the board has given him reasonable money. But if he went to the board and said, I want another 15 million January, I mean, the board has got every right to say, we gave you good money for Haller and not got much change back. Jetty, what's going on with him? For now,
Yarmolenko. I don't think we've got our value for him either. I mean, the injury is one thing, but even since he's come back, he just doesn't look the same.
He can't take anyone on. He's kind of got a bad track record of injuries. He was around £20 million. So we do waste a lot of money. I mean, Jack Wilshere might not have cost any money, or Sanchez, but Sanchez is on 70,000 a week. Wilshere's on around £100,000 a week, and I bet he had a nice signing on fee as well. It's just crazy. We can't rely on any of the. And Antonio, I was really strict, but 3-4 months ago, I felt we should have let him go because of his injury record. He's 29, and a bit like Creswell, we can't get 4 or 5 games out of him in a row. I mean, what can we do? We can't build our team around Antonio. We can't rely on him. We're just constantly looking at him. He's going to pull up any minute. I mean, okay, hands up. The goalkeeper was a brilliant signing. I love Diop. I think give him time. He's a future captain of West Ham. I think Balbuena didn't cost a lot of money. He's not too bad. Ogbonna beginning to show some reasonable form that he had 2-3 years ago. Fredericks is not clever enough to be a good Premiership defender. He's got good pace.
I don't think so.
But half the time he leaves the ball behind. He doesn't know.
Well, he gives it to the other team away.
Giving the ball away, doesn't.
I mean,
yeah.
You can't rely just solely on pace. I mean, yeah.
No, I'm not too
I'm
sure
not a big
about
fan
that.
of him either. But Diop, I mean, I swear there was something that we I don't know how true it was, but we were offered quite a bit of money for him over the summer, and everybody said no. Looking back, I mean, I would have taken it, man.
I think the issue was that I think it was a part cash, part player offer. So the players they were offering was one of them was Phil Jones, and the other one was So the fans would have been up in the air. Yeah.
No. But you could. I mean, with I think the figure, I don't know how true it was, but it was something along the lines of like 60 million. And you could have bought 3 Diops for that. That's my point, because we spent like 20 million for him.
If it was
like true,
Payet, what can you do? It's like Payet after the Euros. Payet, we had 50 million offer, I think, but Gold and Sullivan knew if we sell Payet, the fans will come running for us. We can't do it, and then we had to sell him for around about 27, 28 million. The board need to be strong and do what they think is right. I know with the modern era, you read a lot of online blogs, you listen to fans, and sometimes they're about to buy a player, and then they don't because they listen to what we're going to say. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a mess, isn't it? We really need to be strong and just go for it, I think,
No, that's true. And, there's actually 2 people in the chat room that said that Rafa Benitez is in London and is going to be a guest on Sky Sports for the Monday night match at London Stadium. And they're like, So we lose, and what? We have him right there. Let's sign him up. Is that what you guys are saying? I mean,
that's correct.
So it's Keith and Robert. Correct. So Keith and Robert in the chat room, if you could both tell me, would you take him? Another dinosaur? Anyway,
I don't think we can afford the 10-15 million payoff from his contract from China. Yeah,
I don't either. But again, we have the owners we have, and I feel that I don't know. They didn't loan us the money real quick and slap some interest on that. I mean, if we needed the money, they'd come up with the money and they just charge us back tenfold, right?
I got a feeling that the board is going to take a risk and they're going to predict that we're going to finish 15th, 14th, keep Pellegrini till the summer, but definitely get rid of the director of football maybe in January because Sullivan is dying to get his hands back on the transfer sort of purse and string. So maybe that's a likely scenario, really. If none of us can obviously think of someone to replace Pellegrini, maybe that'll happen. But it's a risk. As confidence dwindles, you need to bring some bodies in January, some fresh bodies, and see if Lanzini's on the way back. But then my mind's thinking, even if Lanzini comes back, his form was pretty poor this year.
Yeah,
is he gonna play 2-3 games and he'll be out again? And then there are rumors that he only signed that contract on this promise that we will let him go in January. That Juventus are looking at him, and that's why Fornals is in. Oh, there's so many things up in the air.
Yeah.
Really.
So what do you think we need the most in January?
We need 2 people and 2 types of players and positions. We need a striker who's different to Haller, can offer something a bit different, a bit more prolific. You're going to laugh a bit like Hernandez.
No, that's true.
Someone who can play alongside him or can come in second half and get on the end of things. And the other player I think we need is a player that we've missed since coming into the new ground, is that dynamic box-to-box, skillful central midfield player to play alongside Rice, someone like Grealish, Diami, Coyote used to be, a bit people looking at Shelby, someone like that really, to be the next Noble, to replace him slowly, really.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of players out there like that. I think we could definitely be looking at. Now that'll lead me right into we'll do some Hammers polls right now. Someone made a suggestion in the Hammers poll, which we'll go over. Yeah, I'll just pull it up real quick.
Okay.
Here we go. This is from our good friend Gaz. Do you think John Joe Shelby would be the perfect partner for Rice?
He would be a very good option.
A short-term option, yes.
I believe he's got a background with West Ham. Maybe he was in our youth system very early, or he's certainly a West Ham fan, or from the local area, I think. Yes, he's dynamic. He's a box-to-box. He's certainly got a good shot and a good goal on him, and I believe he scored this weekend and maybe the weekend before as well, and certainly against us. And he's beginning to get back to his good form, which I believe he had while he was at Liverpool, and got him to one of the England squads, I believe, if I'm not sort of wrong. So Shelby does tick the boxes, but I felt maybe we've missed a boat because obviously Steve Bruce fancies him and plays him regularly, but one of the sort of Benitez didn't and kept him on the bench a lot. So maybe we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, because why would Newcastle sell him when he's doing so well for them at the moment?
True. So, and plus, I don't know if he's the perfect choice, or it says right here, do you think he's the perfect partner for Rice? I would clearly, he'd be good for sure, but
yeah,
perfect, when you, it's 20, it's 50-50 roughly, 54-45.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The next question, I skipped over that one. There we go. So if fit, who starts up front against Arsenal? Antonio, Allaire, or both?
Both.
Yeah, in a perfect world, yeah.
both. Because what do we have to lose? We're at home. It's a London derby under the lights. We're playing at a team, if not worse, is equally going through a traumatic form like us. Low on kind of confidence, really weak defense and midfield. You got to go for it. Yeah. And Antonio, he'll scare the wit out of them on his own and hopefully create some space for Haller. So yeah, play both. Yeah.
And 56%. So the fans want it, supporters want that. We've already touched on the fact that he's so stubborn. It's only going to be one striker up top against Arsenal. I don't know. I mean, with Benitez being there, do you think? Pellegrini must know that Benitez is going to be there at the match. And do you think he feels any pressure, or do you think he gives a shit? Or
I think he doesn't, because he's very wealthy. He's 66. And I read 3 years ago that he said, if I don't get a reasonable project or a new job, I'm going to retire. Then he ended up in China, and he never thought a club like West Ham would come in for him. So I don't think he's that worried. Obviously, personal pride is at stake. But you rarely see any kind of energy out of him, like he's upset, or he's giving instructions out there, waving his hands or fingers around. Or all he seems to do is just have a fight with Anderson, looks like, after pulling him off after 65 minutes every game. That's the only thing I see out of him, really.
This season, I think I can count on my hand how many times I did see him, shout angrily. I think maybe twice, or maybe more than that. I don't know, but no more than 5 times this whole season thus far. But for the most part, he's just sitting there, as Charlie Boy and Liam like to say on our show. He likes to sit there and stroke his tie a lot, or he likes to whisper with his mate with the RC on his shirt, Ruben Casillas or whatever his name is. The assistant manager that nobody ever hears a word from. I don't even know what he does. I mean, really, his coaching staff. I wish to God that we could just spend a day on the training ground and watch what the hell they do. But I would say I don't know. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares about the pressure. I don't think he's going to change a damn thing. And I don't know. Let's go on to the where's the other question? Well, it looks like somebody already answered it for us here. West Ham take on Arsenal Monday. Who was the best to play for both, in your opinion? John Hartson, Liam Brady, Ian Wright, Jim Standen.
John Hartson. For us, Arsenal didn't think that. I love John Hartson. I love that big. But then again, under Harry Radnat, we played 2 up front. I'm very traditional. I like the big man, small man combination. That was
Yeah.
Hartson and Kitson back then. Worked very well. Ian Wright, unfortunately, we got him right at the end and didn't really see much from him, but that was the end. Then Liam Brady came in '87 from Italy. He did well. He lasted about 3-4 years. Yeah, he retired around '91. Scored on his debut, or certainly one of the early games. His first goal was for West Ham against Arsenal at Upton Park. And when you watch that goal, it's a brilliant goal. And he ran into the chicken run. How great was that?
Yeah.
And he couldn't come out. And I think they kept him in there, hugging him, and nearly took his shirt off. And took him about a couple of minutes. Yeah, it took him a couple of minutes to come back out the chicken run and got booked, I think. But yeah, I'll go for John Hartson because that's in my memory. And yeah, he was very good for us. Yeah.
41.5% say Ian Wright. It was close with Liam Brady, 39.6%. But 16% say John Hartson. And that's only out of 106 votes thus far. There's still 20 hours. No, it was done 20 hours ago. There's still, actually, no, that was it. That was the final. Huh.
Oh.
Okay. Usually there's a lot more votes on that. So when fit, who is first on the team sheet now between Lanzini and Fornals? And I think you already touched on that a little bit, but what's your opinion?
I'm quite harsh. I would have none of them. But
yeah, exactly.
Seriously, one has kind of peaked and twiddle out. The other one we don't know nothing about what his capabilities are. So I would pick. I'd actually. Well, this is a tough one because I know for now he's kind of showing a few percentage in every game. I think he played very hard, worked very hard against Wolves. At Chelsea, had a reasonable game. So I would carry on. Yeah, I would. I think it's fair to give Fornals a bit more chance because we kind of know what we need to know from Lanzini. So I'll go Fornals. But when I look at these two, they're so small, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the modern game, they're full of powerhouse, giant people. And Lanzini looks like a 5-foot kid and he gets bullied out the game fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm finding out. I mean, especially when we're up against Dalieli, 6'1", Son, Harry Kane. You've got kind of, I mean, Salah's not too big, but he's rapid. You've got kind of Firmino and people like that, Rashford. Yeah, they're just a bit too small for me, I think, in the modern game, I feel. And what you get with these players, we call them what they're number 10 luxury players, aren't they? And you have to change your whole formation to fit these guys in. And that's the problem. You can't play 4-4-2 with them because they don't tackle enough.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other formations that you can't do with them. Can you play 4-3-3 with them? 4-3-3s when you interchange them consistently, like Liverpool and Tottenham do. So, and do they offer enough as a number 10? Do they really help the striker? Do they assist a lot of goals?
I mean Lanzini used to, and everybody called him. Everybody called him the diamond, and I call him the cubic zirconia. And he's fragile. He used to be really good, but it seems like after all these injuries, it seems to have been rushed back too soon because he was such an important player for us at one point that I feel that he's rushed back too soon and he's too timid and afraid. He's constantly thinking about his injuries. I feel like he doesn't give it 100% when he comes back and he plays. He's like he's nursing the injury still. He's thinking about it. And Fornals plays like he's been injured and he's afraid to get hurt again. Because if you watch him closely, he will not make contact with another player, offensively or defensively. He looks like he's afraid of bumping into somebody. It's really bizarre. But now I'll give Fornals, the one thing I'll give him is that, yes, like you said, the Chelsea match and between the Chelsea match and the Wolves match, it looks like he's starting to put in a little more effort overall. So you can kind of see him doing more things. But again, it's his first year in the Premier League, and it's a learning curve for most people. Look at Felipe Anderson last year, and I don't know. I just think that he looks like Fornals is starting to understand what he's got to do. I don't know if anybody on the pitch really knows what Pellegrini wants him to do, but it looks like he's on the way up. So I'll pick Fornals between the two because I don't want Lanzini to get hurt again for a long period of time again.
Yeah, I mean, our league is very tough compared to Spanish league that he's come from. And even going back to Anderson, when you're a winger, he doesn't take anyone on. He doesn't cross the ball in. We don't take any shots. And the modern game is so quick. Like Lanzini, he actually delays passing the ball by a good 2-3 seconds, and that's all it takes for the defending team to get back in place behind the ball. The game, you've got a split second in this modern game. You've got to release the ball real quick, and get your people in there and get the shot in. We are so slow at our attacking, and we're very slow at pressing the attacking team when they're coming onto us. We give them far too much room, and that's going back to you. It's the confidence, it's the formation. I don't know what Pellegrini's orders are, but certainly the way we're playing at the moment, it's not working. It's not the way other teams play either.
Yeah, no, that's true. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, Lanzini has been. I see Lanzini's been crap lately. I mean, Fornals is playing better. Somebody just said if Lanzini had not got injured just before the World Cup, him feeding Messi, completely different world, cups and all. Again, that it's just our luck, I suppose. We've had piss poor luck with injuries in our better players. Someone earlier said about the best player to play for Arsenal and West Ham. Someone said, what, Marwan Shamak doesn't get a mention at all? For his hair, he could definitely get the most unique look in the world. But he really didn't do anything for us. So, yeah, man, I don't know. This is a tough one. I mean, I guess we'll have to say Fornals, out of 465 votes, it's closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of the loyalists, a lot of people who would say, hey, you know what? I would start Reed over somebody right now just because of what he did for the club, not what he's actually doing. So almost 60% say Lanzini. That's crazy. There's still 1 day left in that voting. So if you guys who are watching this live or not, head on over to Hammers Polls, at Hammers Polls on Twitter. They also have a cool website. They also post some YouTube videos. So check them out where you can. And, you know, thanks again, Hammers Polls, good friends of ours. Another thing that popped up in the news I want to get your opinion on is Darren Randolph. What do you think about that? Did you hear about that? Or we're thinking about bringing him back potentially?
To be honest, I've not been following what he's been up to. But then, if they're thinking of a backup and he's reasonably available and reasonably on form and not injured, then that's fine. I mean, he knows the club. But it's like you said, we go and mess things up, and then we're making short-term fixes. And I don't mind. I don't mind as a backup, to be fair. I don't mind. But you know, it's either him or the guy at Stoke, wasn't it? We're looking at Jack Butland, I think we're looking at, who was once upon looked at one of England's prospects, and his form has dwindled down. Form is a big thing for goalkeepers. So I'm not too sure if you'd want to sign a goalkeeper who's had a really bad time, unless the change of scenery works and you're hoping for potential. I wouldn't say no.
Begovic's name has been coming up recently too. That's one that I would actually prefer over Darren Randolph. Darren Randolph, I mean, he wasn't the best keeper. I don't understand what everybody loves about him. Yeah, he was a nice guy. You know, he had a lot of time for the fans. And I mean, other than that, what?
Yeah, I think they're thinking in terms of a backup that hopefully won't be needed once sort of Fabianski's back.
You're right, but look what happened to us.
Yeah.
We thought we'd never need a backup keeper, and then we did, and there's number two, and you gave a number two.
Yeah.
But so my point though is Fabianski, man, he comes back, and he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be the same. I don't. I mean, we have a really tough time. I don't know who helps this or not, but when one of our players gets injured, it's one of those things where every time they come back, they don't look the same right away. And I don't know why that is, what that is, but I don't know if he's going to get rushed back or how is his rehab going? Is it really going good, or are you guys just saying that to keep the fans' hopes up? And just because he comes back doesn't mean he's going to save the season. Is he going to be in form when he first comes back? He's going to need some matches to get back into the swing of things. I know he's just a goalkeeper. He doesn't really get as much action as a Lanzini would when it comes down to the actual play on the pitch. But you know, that's a key position for us. And is he going to come back looking like a Roberto? Probably not. But is he going to be 100%? I don't know.
I think it's a hip injury, isn't it, if I remember? Which, again, as a goalkeeper, you use your hip a lot, don't you? Bend left, bend right. Yeah, so... Yeah. And the other thing is, which got me thinking when you mentioned that, maybe it's because a lot of our players we don't have a strong backup. You know, when you're comfortable, you think you're not going to be dropped because there's no one in to take their place.
Yeah.
Maybe they get too comfortable and they carry on producing those 6.5 out of 10 performances. And for Fabianski, if I was Fabianski, I'm thinking a little bit naughty now. If I was him, I'd go back to the board and ask for more money because you
Yeah.
know how desperate you are. You know, they'll say, yeah, because his stock has gone through the roof. His head must be so big at the moment, looking at what's happened, and when he comes back, so he can ask for whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And even if it's performing, no one's going to drop him, and that's not good. Yeah, I mean, we wanted a good number two. If anything, we wouldn't have rushed Fabianski on the way back, and now we're going to. And maybe that's what we did. We rushed Antonio back as well, like we always do.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't 100%.
Exactly.
Because we had no one else, and there we go.
But yeah, you're right. And one of those things though, by him coming back, I mean, that kind of showed Allaire that his position isn't, secure, which everybody was saying with playing only one lone striker, right? And Allaire only had a Yeti as a backup, so he knew that, okay, my position's, I'm solid. I don't have anybody behind me threatening my position. And then Antonio came back against Chelsea and looked really good, and well, now here we go. I mean, Allaire came back and looked like shit against Wolves. So I don't know.
Yeah. Another interesting thing, I don't know what you think about it, is we believe that Pellegrini doesn't like signing players on loan. So instead, we kind of threw 9 million at a Jetty and one or two other players. I mean, I think loan players, there is room for that. If someone's really good, has gone off form, you can maybe look at them for another 6 months and see if they've improved. Because that 9 million we've thrown on a Jetty, including the agent. See, people don't understand 9 million isn't the only fee that costs you. The agent fees are huge these days. Huge. And the three-year contract that he signed,
signing on fees, all these.
God knows what he's on. And you know that when we begin to sell these type of players, we find we can't get rid of them, because being a Premiership team like Gomez, we chased Gomez all summer, and then the Spanish team was saying, because you're West Ham, because you're from the Premiership, you got the money, the price is 40 million for you guys, but for anyone else is around 20-21. And I think he went for around 23 million to the other team who gave him 2 players. So we got to be really good, got to be careful. I mean, we're getting a lot of money from Sky, but we can't just keep throwing it away. So what's your feelings around sort of loan deals? I think there is a place for loan deals.
I do. I like it a lot. I can name 3 loan players from the past, 5 or 6 years that were fantastic for us. And one of them was Carl Jenkinson. That worked out great for us when he was with us. Victor Moses was great. I miss having that around. I mean, so there are players out there. I mean, because I don't know if it's necessarily Pellegrini or if it's the owners, because they look at, like, they're telling everybody we're a top 6 club. They are. I mean, Pellegrini's saying he wants to get there. I mean, I'll give him that much. He's not saying that we are. He's saying that that's the goal. He still thinks we can make it there somehow. I don't know how, but this season. So with that mentality, you don't want to be borrowing players from other top 6 clubs like we used to. We used to, like, Jenkinson came from Arsenal, Moses came from Chelsea, and stuff like that, because that's not feeding into the whole dream of we are a top 6 club. We are a European club. So I don't know. That might be their mindset. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. But yes, I'm all for loan deals. I mean, there's tons of different leagues around the world that have players that just aren't getting the minutes. I wish to God that we, would loan, more players out instead of selling players on too. There's been a few players that we never should have sold that just wanted minutes. You know what I mean? But we took the money. We needed the money, I guess, and it never ended up working out for us, because now we don't have the players and we don't have the money. So anyway, I
think so. Lanzini was on loan originally,
that's right,
if I remember as well.
Yeah.
Diangana's doing really well on loan, and maybe Johnson, the fullback, should have gone on loan, because we certainly haven't used him so far. So we can do one or two things a bit better, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So before we head into the rapid fire questions, I do want to get your opinion for tomorrow night's match and a prediction, if possible.
Yeah, I was thinking about this before the game. I thought you'd ask me that. 2-2. Yeah, I'll go for 2-2. Yeah.
You think so? Okay, good. I'm glad. That's optimistic, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's still Arsenal. They still have Arsenal's players. And I read a report. I try not to believe the British press as much as possible, because it's usually just outlandish, but they were saying that the players for Arsenal have not bought into Lundberg's system, and they do not want to play for him already. Like they're not feeling it. And he's only been there, what, a week?
Yeah. He was terrible. He was terrible for us. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Really bad. I saw the Matthew Everington interview, and he said we didn't know. He didn't want to be with us. He didn't talk to no one on the dressing, and we had to pay him £1 or £2 million to leave the club in the end. So I'm not feeling too sorry for him, but I would have said we would have lost playing any other team because just how down I am at the moment about things.
Yeah.
But I'll say a point because they are just as bad as us in terms of the circus that's going on at their club and our club. And I think 2-2. Yeah, maybe we'll get a penalty. I don't know. And 2-2.
I agree with you.
And their forward line is rapid. And
they are.
I think 2-2's about. Yeah, maybe both teams.
I agree with you mainly because it's one of those big clubs. You know, when we played Chelsea, we did it. You know what I mean? When we played Man United, we did it. We got, at least we got the wins. But it's Arsenal. I don't know. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we won, just because all this pressure is on Pellegrini, and every time we're about to sack him, he pulls off a win. That's just our luck. That's my luck. So Ben Davis says, we're a top 6 club. Yeah, in the championship next season with no VAR either. So but I don't know if things continue. Well, let's see. Let's be optimistic, I guess. So for Nigel, who probably left because he's probably sick of our negativity, I'll give you one. Hey, we're probably gonna draw or I would be surprised if we pulled off a win on Saturday. So let me pull up these questions real quick for you. These are fun. These were created by a good friend of ours of the show called Wayne, who has a podcast called West Ham is Why We Drink.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really funny. There are 2 expats who live in Dallas, Texas. It's really fun stuff.
I was reading somewhere that we've got one of the most fans channels out of all the clubs. We've got so many different channels running now.
We do.
Which is quite interesting. Yeah.
Now, Arsenal Fan TV is the largest channel out of everybody. I think Liverpool is a close second. I know Manchester United has a couple channels, but they definitely have the biggest channels. But West Ham Fan TV, man, they got like 46,000 subscribers. They're awesome. Yeah. And West Ham's official YouTube channel only has 150,000 subscribers. So we put that in comparison. So West Ham Fan TV has a third of that. That's huge.
Yeah. Probably see him tomorrow, Robbie. Yeah, maybe be at the game.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. Yeah, and we've had all the Hammers Chat guys on. We've interviewed them all, and including Mike Manera, which is from Mike on Mondays, which is one of the first things I saw.
Did you
on Hammers Chat?
Mike very well.
Yeah, he's awesome, and we've had all the West Ham Fan TV guys, and it's a great community, like you were saying. So here's the questions: meat pie or apple pie?
Meat pie.
And who's your favorite current West Ham player? Tough one, huh?
Okay.
You think?
Fabianski.
There you go. The one not on the pitch. I love it.
That was really bad, isn't it?
No, it's good. I mean, that's been answered a lot. So basically, we asked this to every single person we interview, so to just try to get a get a base for this, and it's always fun to hear these answers. Fabianski's come up quite a few times, actually. At least you answered a current one. I mean, give you that much. A lot of people would say Bobby Moore. No. There's nobody on the squad I like. Anyway, so who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Anderson.
That's
because I know there's a great player in him that's dead. And the manager can't wake him up. It's very unfortunate. I know he's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Anderson, because I know it's in him. We have to pull it out of him. But Pellegrini is not able to do it. And that's his job. He's a human being. We all lose confidence. You got to put your arm around him like good old Harry Redknapp used to.
Yeah.
And you got to and he can't motivate the players, Pellegrini.
None.
Yeah. And
at
Anderson,
all.
Yeah.
So would you have Harry Redknapp back? He's looking for a job.
Oh, Harry. How much money have you got, Harry? Go and sit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, crazy.
I said Fredericks just because I can't. I don't think he belongs at the club. I don't. I think he belongs somewhere else. He just doesn't fit. But now I keep hearing everybody say Anderson, and the reasons they give on Anderson is that at least Anderson is a Premier League player. I mean, he's got it in him. It's just a matter of, like you said, it's just getting up for it. So the next question is FA Cup or top 4 finish? What would you rather have?
Well, it hurts me to say this, top 4. It hurts me to say it's top 4 because I know the amount of money, how it can change the focus on the club worldwide, help bring in better players.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts me because you won't find many people who, I mean, I was brought up on the FA Cup. I'm 45 years old.
Yeah.
We remember the FA Cup final day. We remember how the FA Cup draw used to be done on the radio. You listen to it. It hurts me to say this because I don't agree with the Champions League format, but that's another day of. I can explain. I believe only the champions should go into the Champions League as a number 1.
Yeah.
And then you have 2, 3, 4, 5 in the old UEFA Cup and bring back the Cup Winners' Cup. That's my feelings.
That's
we've
great.
Messed it all up. Yeah.
It's a great take on that. You know, we've only had one other I think, or maybe 2 other people say, you know, the top 4 finish. A lot of people try to cheat and say, well, I take the top finish, you know, because there you get the actual silverware, you get the trophy, because everybody who said FA Cup says FA Cup, not so much for the, you know, the nostalgia. I mean, more so for the actual trophy itself, saying, hey, we need that trophy back in our cabinet. And, you know, I would love to see Mark Noble walking up the steps with holding the trophy. There'd be nothing better than to see that. I mean, that's usually the reasoning. But you're right about the money, and it's a big difference. And then they'll say, well, with the FA Cup, you can go to the Community Shield and fight for that. And I don't know. I like to hear both sides of the story. That's cool. Great.
In terms of us reaching the FA Cup final, an interesting fact is that I think if we reach the final, we would be lucky to get in the region of 25,000 tickets as a club, and we have around about 50,000 season ticket holders at West Ham.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 season. I'm the owner of 3 season tickets at West Ham. I'll be lucky if I ever have a ticket. So if they got there, I don't think I'll be able to see that. So that's another thing. But
yeah. Well, no, but the point is that this point is for Nigel in the chat room, because Nigel says taking the money instead of glory. Sad choice. Well, it's the modern game, right, Nigel? We got to adapt to the modern game. We need the money, or else we can't grow as a club. I mean, we've already taken the step, even though we didn't want to take the step. Well, looking back, we didn't want to take the step to the new stadium. But now that we're there, in order to survive, we got to think money.
The Europa would be good as well. Equally, to get in there would be really good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. So, what about West Ham do you love?
In terms of what? Sorry, West Ham.
What about West Ham? You know, the grand scheme of things, like the whole picture of it. What about West Ham do you love? Most people say anything having to do with, I don't know. The most common answer is like you were saying before, like the bonding or the family, the actual, just being a part of the community of West Ham support. That's usually number 1 answer.
I love the history and tradition that that people like John Lyle built and Ron Greenwood, in terms of, I like the tradition of playing good football, and I love our colours. I know a lot of people don't talk about it. It's our claret and blue. How many teams in the world playing claret and blue that we stand at? I love our colours, tradition, and history of playing good football. I remember my mum, she used to know nothing about football. She goes, I love your colours. I love the colours that West Ham play. It stands out, doesn't it? I mean, there's not that many. Burnley, Scunthorpe, West Ham, Villa. That's about it. Four teams maybe in our league. Abroad, I'm not sure. So, yeah, it's tradition, and I think we're special, yeah. There's not many teams like us, 60,000 fans. We haven't won anything since 1980. It's the tradition, I'd say. Yeah, the tradition and history of playing good football, I think, yeah.
What about West Ham do you hate? Or just like, whatever. I mean, however you want to phrase it.
The West Ham I hate, I believe that the supporters have never had a board that they deserve. I think the owners and the board, going back all the way till 1986, when we finished 3rd and we bought no one the following year, when we're nearly there, sacking Alan Pardew when we shouldn't have. So I think it's the owners which I never liked at West Ham, because in the past they've always been guilty of not having enough ambition to match the commitment of the fans. It's the owners, yeah. The business and the owner side of things at West Ham, yeah.
So that inconsistency and the new stadium, those are things that usually pop up for that answer. So yeah, that's owners come up, I think, more often than not, though. What's your favorite curse word?
Favorite, sorry?
Your favorite swear word, curse word. Your favorite bad word?
Quite a few. It's probably the B word. Yeah, probably the B word. But I'm pretty cool at games. I mean, I usually, few children around where I sit. I usually just keep it in me, and I'm a bit different when I was really young, but yeah, I keep it within me.
Well,
and
it's sad. I can't.
It's sad. It's sad because it's kind of dying in us slowly. I mean, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Tottenham scored," and I'm like, "Yeah, I knew it was going to happen." I just sat there on my seat looking up in the air. It's really sad, isn't it? A lot of people are saying we're losing, and it's not hurting as much because we knew it was going to happen. So yeah, it's the B word. Yeah.
I'll swear at the TV. I'll swear by myself watching the game at home.
Spurs. That's another bad one, isn't it? Spurs.
Yeah, there you go. That's the worst word.
That's that's the worst.
What team do you love to beat more than any other team?
Spurs at the moment.
Spurs.
Yeah. Spurs at the moment. Yeah. At school it was Chelsea, but that had to do with a lot of the circle of friends I had. And because of my family, they support Liverpool a lot, so I didn't want them to win the league. But looks like they have a good chance this year. But at the moment, Spurs, because I felt that 3-year cycle they had under Poch was not going to be permanent. It's just 2-3 good years most clubs like us go through, and hopefully they're back to normality now. So Spurs, yeah.
The number one answer is Spurs. Number two is usually Manchester United. That's the one that I chose, just because they're supposedly like the third biggest club in the world when it comes down to fans and advertising, etc. Blah blah blah. It just feels so good to beat a club like that, even when they're not doing well, and even when they do put out a C team or they're under 23s against us, we still beating them. Just knowing that there's fans out there for Manchester United, in disgust that we beat them. That just makes me feel so good. Chelsea, my original co-host, Lee, who's actually has a show tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time with quite a few people. Charlie Boy will be on, etc. He picks Chelsea just because he has a lot of coworkers that are Chelsea supporters. There's a lot of Chelsea supporters here in the United States. And he just loves beating Chelsea. Name a player, past or present, that epitomizes West Ham United to you, in your eyes.
Trevor Brooking.
That one comes up a lot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Articulate, skillful, various range passing, goal, regular England player, respectable. People look up to him a lot. Got a stand named after him, and played for us all his life. Didn't even play for any other club. Trevor Brooking, I think, followed closely by Billy Bonds. Yeah, Trevor Brooking. Yeah,
those are two of the big ones. How do I say? When we interview fans, from the United States or elsewhere that are newer fans, they all say Mark Noble, obviously, for many obvious reasons. And then I'd say, besides Brooking and Bonds, we hear like Julian Dix or Paulo Di Canio a lot as well. Just because of the passion that they had for the club,
Brilliant players.
Yeah. All right. The final question is my favorite question. And this is, if you could take a time machine to go back and experience anything to do with West Ham, when and where would you go?
I'd go to 1979-80 season before our FA Cup run started. Because that period was when great things that we reached the 81 League Cup final. We won the old First Division title in 81 with record points, won the FA Cup. So August 1979, I think that point. Yeah.
That's awesome. That was a great answer. Yeah, the most common are the 66 World Cup because it has something to do with West Ham, to relive that or watch that. Also, the White Horse finals come up a few times, and what else? The 80 FA Cup comes a lot. A lot of people pick that, or the 1964 FA Cup final, and then a lot of newer supporters. Obviously, they would love to go back and just relive or visit for the first time. The last game at the Bowl-In.
I was there. Yeah, 5 of us were there. Amazing. Only time I got emotional at the end. Yeah, like a lot of people. Yeah.
There was a ton of people there too, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. We were streaming live on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube, just so everyone knows. I see that there was a lot of comments on all 3 platforms. I appreciate that. Oh, someone says Devonshire. Yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah. And but listen, thank you to everybody who was chatting along, even you, Nigel, and Steve, PSB. You guys are giving me shit, but I appreciate it. It's all in good fun. Matt Howard, appreciate it, and TJ Cooney and Anthony and Ben. Me and Ben go back and forth a lot about James Tompkins because it's an honor. It's a running gag here with the show that I just will not let it go. We got rid of James. He's doing so well for Crystal Palace. Anyway, thanks to everybody in the chat room. Please check out our ahtv.threadless.com and pick up some Hammers Singh's gear. They get tons of cool stuff. Also, buy some West Ham Philly stuff. Buy some American Hammers TV or American Hammers Radio or American Hammers Network. Blah 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 blah. We have tons of cool designs in there. Not just supporters group logos or our logos. We have cool designs too, West Ham related. So check it out. And you have anything you want to plug, or if anybody wants to follow you, you have a Twitter handle or something like that you want to give out, or no?
No, not really. I'm kind of I like to sort of keep in touch with what people like yourselves are doing. It's really commendable how much time you guys give up. What a great job you guys do. So passionate. And I've always got people like you on in the TV. My wife's always complaining, you got that guy on again. What are you doing? I listen to it all night, all the channels, including yourself. It's brilliant to me. I could watch that all day. And I know how much time it takes out of your normal lives and a lot of the research you guys do and the questions you follow up and sort of give back to us and a lot of things you find out. So the 1 or 2 things I wanted. So you've changed the name of your channel slightly, haven't you?
We've changed the name of the So we have American Hammers TV, and that was the original thing, and we have American Hammers Radio. So what we decided to do was all of our social media handles are now American Hammers Network.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have other things in the works too that are going to fit into that. But yeah, it's still American Hammers TV on YouTube. And for people who want to check us out on Spotify or iTunes, it's American Hammers Radio. We do take some of our videos and take the audio and put them up there. But there's also just a standalone podcast that we have that's really interesting called American Hammers Radio. Check that out as well.
And whereabouts are you based yourself in the US?
Me, I'm in Massachusetts.
Okay.
I'm close to New Hampshire. I'm in New England. Unfortunately, with all this snow, I can't stand it. But yes, and my original co-host lives 10 minutes from me. And another little fun fact: my wife was at the grocery store today, and she saw someone wearing a West Ham scarf, and she lingered around him just to make sure it was a West Ham scarf and not some Aston Villa or Burnley type of thing. So it was a West Ham scarf, and she went up to him and said, "Hey, you guys watch American Hammers TV?" And he said no, but she made him subscribe right there on the spot. So
brilliant,
if you're watching, Mr. New Guy from Londonderry, thank you. Tell your friends.
Excellent. Anyway. See some unique colors. Yeah,
it is. No, I love it, man. Like, look, this is a corner in my bedroom. My wife allows me to have all this stuff up in the corner of my bedroom. So good on her too. But listen, Jazz, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you, and hopefully, as soon as I get over there, I'll get to say hello to you. All righty?
When you planning to come down quickly?
I don't know yet. There was 3 different. I'll talk to you up there, but soon, hopefully.
I'll definitely make some time. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll talk to you off the air real quick.
Yeah,
cool.
Brilliant.
Right.
Thank you.
Come on, you irons.
Thank you. Come on, your irons. Thank you.